Content warnings for this week's movie and discussion thereof include sexual assault and rape.
You're having that dream again. We are the emissaries from the void.
Welcome back to Emissaries from the Void.
I'm Ari.
And I am Tristan.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I don't know. What am I looking at you like?
Yes. Hello, lovely listeners. Welcome back. So now we're really deep into the void at this point because I hate you for this.
Yeah.
Making me watch this movie.
I knew you would. And I did it anyway.
Yeah. Listeners, see what he does to me. This relationship is so abusive.
It's a very different area of the void, I guess.
We got a little lost.
I think the directors, producers, writers of this movie got a little lost. Lost in the sauce.
Yes, I would concur. So, Tristan, what movie did you make me sit through?
Well, this is a masterpiece known only as Little Man by the Wayans brothers, who you may know from the Scary Movie series. And did they do White Chicks? Or
They did.
Yeah. So White Chicks is like the closest point of reference probably for this movie.
Definitely in the tone of its comedy, I would agree.
Yeah.
We're not reviewing White Chicks.
No, God, no.
It's not happening.
Not that it's worse than this, really, but
It's not as weird.
it's not.
Being cross-dressing isn't weird. Like, it's just what par for the course, right? Like, whatever.
If you're not familiar with White Chicks, I'll set that up real quick. Two black men pose as, you'll never guess, white chicks. And they do this not just by cross-dressing, but by wearing like full prosthetic makeup.
Full-on prosthetic white face, yes.
Yeah. Which is, as you might imagine, uncanny and unsettling.
Yeah.
This movie, Little Man, Marlon Wayans plays a little man. You bet you didn't see that coming. And
wow. We interrupt this program to bring you a breaking, developing story.
And the effects in Little Man are a major reason that it's as weird and noteworthy, I guess, that it is.
Definitely needed more time in the oven for that. Although I imagine that a lot of what was done in this film really did help develop techniques for later films. Like,
I would believe it.
Yeah. So just to set a premise, everybody, we've decided to get a little bit more professional. So I'm gonna give a breakdown of this movie.
Break it on down, Ari.
Okay, so first and foremost, Little Man was made in 2006 by the Wayans brothers. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, I've always said Wayans.
It's like spelled like Wayans. My inability to say last names continues. They did Scary Movie and White Chicks, which, you know, as problematic as Scary Movie is, I do remember it more fondly than not.
Honestly, I think White Chicks is a little bit funnier than the original Scary Movie, but I'm
well, you know what, you're not really a horror, you weren't a horror fan when you were growing up. Like, I, as a horror fan,
maybe that's it.
At least the first few Scary Movies genuinely made me laugh when I was younger. I'm sure they do not hold up. Yes, audience, I know all the problematic things.
I did not see them when I was young enough to really appreciate them. So.
Yeah, and you've done yourself a favor because you don't have to remember it. Like, for context, audience, when Tristan and I were talking after this movie, we were talking about other movies in a similar vein, and for some reason I just kept naming off like the most transphobic movies ever, and I didn't remember any of that. Like it's just like my mind blipped it out of like existence, and I'm like, so yeah, maybe it's good you don't fondly remember trash. You know, I'm a raccoon sitting on my pile of trash movies. Like, this is my garbage.
Yeah.
Anyway, the story follows Calvin Sims, who is a individual with like severe dwarfism, like to the point that, you know, it would be impossible to exist IRL.
Yeah, I mean, I think also he has a little bit of Godzilla syndrome in the movie where his actual size changes from scene to scene.
It does. It does. It changes on whatever's funniest for the scene, I think. Because like when they first show him, he's like microscopic. Like you need a magnifying glass to see him. Anyway, they use CGI to make him appear small. Like some of it is like a toddler double that they mapped his face onto,
right?
And then some of it's probably like a puppet or just like green screen trickery.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, the effects are pretty amazing. Like I've never seen this done better. But it's why did they do it?
Yeah, like nowadays they just make a CGI character. They wouldn't bother.
Yeah, I guess.
Or they would do like a face replacement on a non-existent character on like 3 layers of blue screen.
Well, yeah, I guess what we should compare it to is in Wonka.
Oh yeah, the Oompa Loompas. But
no, the most recent.
Oh,
the prequel Wonka.
Oh yeah, the
Hugh
like
Grant.
nightmare fuel Hugh Grant.
Yeah, which I have not seen. I do not care to.
I mean, it's good. No, I really recommend it. Like,
okay.
You don't have to watch it. Yeah, everybody,
like,
audience. I'm not holding a gun to Tristan off screen right now. Like,
I would rather rewatch Little Man.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
from what I've seen of Hugh Grant, like the effects in this movie, I say that they're good. They're not good enough to be convincing.
Hugh Grant's in like 10 minutes of Wonka. Like he's not even in the movie that much.
I'll be watching through my fingers.
It's wow. Okay. Well, y'all, the first civil war on this podcast is over.
It's a combination of, you know, like an aesthetic distaste and also like kind of a depression. Like I feel sad watching Hugh Grant, who's an actor that I don't like put on a pedestal by any means, but decent actor. I
mean, okay. I guess like they use him well. He served his purpose. Okay. It's fine. Moving on.
Yeah, my point I'm trying to make about this movie's effects is that they're good, but they can never be good enough. And so it lands in this part of the uncanny valley that I feel was previously uncharted.
Thus the void. Yes.
Yeah.
We're in the uncanny valley part of the void.
Yeah.
So, you know, like before we were in like queer horror and like, you know, just weird, like surreal, dreamy horror. Yeah. Actually, you know, all 3 of the movies that we watched before were basically dreamy horror. And now we're just in, this is a nightmare. This, like, I feel like I took shrooms and like, also
my original idea, I wanted to take shrooms to watch this.
And I wouldn't have forgiven you.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. So let me continue this recap, damn
Please.
It. Okay. So Calvin Sims, played by Marlon Wayans using CGI. He's a jewel thief, basically utilizing his size to steal a gem, and that's like that's the whole premise of this film.
Yeah.
And that he's like recently released from prison. He needs to make a big score, and he ends up placing himself in a position where he has to sneak into this lovely couple's house where she has a really problematic relationship with her dad. He pretends to do that by pretending to be a baby.
Yeah. He's that small. He's that little of a man.
He's that little of a man.
That he can dress up in a onesie and have like a note attached to him in a basket at their door, and they take him in as a baby.
Yep, and they comment on how ugly he looks, and how he has a tattoo and a scar,
a huge penis. Yep.
Okay, so to conclude the summary, basically, the movie is basically your normal stoner comedy bits, absurdity to the point of cartoonishness, although it definitely gets more so later on. I remember that was one thing we noticed was that like it starts off kind of
I don't know.
grounded.
I think it's
like it starts off relatively
after he
grounded.
becomes a baby, like everything's pretty cartoonish from there, but it becomes like a different kind of cartoon maybe at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of this movie can be summed up with hijinks ensue.
And like this film had a $64 million budget and only made $104 million. Now that sounds like it made a profit, but no, that is not a profit, including like because advertising is never included in the box office. So it's like this was a financial flop at the box office and rightfully deserved. It is. Oh my God.
I cannot imagine seeing this in theaters.
People dead. People paid to see it. Made $104 million, which means that people paid money to see this in theaters at like $16 a ticket. So that's how many theaters.
Well,
so
this was 2006. We didn't have to pay that much.
Okay, like
it was like $8 a ticket back.
Worse.
Back in my day.
You see that's worse
because there's more people.
Yeah. All right. So, to conclude the summary, basically, just like the premise of this film is that Sims is trying to get this jewel back from his family.
Yeah.
And pretending to be a baby to do it.
Yeah. And there's also the mafia people who he's supposed to be stealing it for, and they're getting like increasingly aggravated that it's not happening.
Yeah, like if there is an antagonist of this film, it's the mob boss, but they're like they've got like 10 minutes of screen time. Like,
yeah.
Anyway, none of you care about spoilers for Little Man, but spoilers section now.
Yeah. If you want to see Little Man, you can rent it.
Don't do it. Stop.
Where
did we
rent it?
I rented it on YouTube.
Oh yeah,
I paid money for it.
It was for a while. It was free on YouTube, and then they were like, "Okay, we can make some money off of this."
Well, there was that free version, but it was like a garbage quality, and it
no. They had an official free version.
Oh, okay, yeah. Nope. I had to pay $4.99 to watch this movie, and YouTube is like recommending me a bunch of Wayne's Brothers schlock now.
Yeah,
you've corrupted my YouTube. It's okay, y'all. When I go over to Tristan's house, we pull up videos on YouTube. We corrupt his YouTube already. So Tristan, now that I've given the lovely audience the summary that you asked for, tell me, what is this movie about? What is it really about?
What is it really about to like become a
A
baby?
little
It's
man.
like a return to innocence. Over the course of the movie, he learns to value family. He didn't have parents. I forget exactly how he phrases it, but he definitely didn't have a father in his life, and
yeah, they throw him a birthday party and he cries. He's like, I can't cry. They want me to cry.
Exactly.
Like, honestly, like it's a great exploration of a character with borderline personality disorder. Like, honestly, like as stupid as it is, the portrayal of borderline when we randomly get like monologue from him inside of his own head, like the movie just decides like it's third person limited perspective for most of the movie, and then randomly we get third person omniscient of inside his head, like but when we do, it's like, oh no, he's got BPD like really bad.
I guess they didn't have faith in Marlon conveying all of that with his facial expression.
Yeah.
Which, can I say, is all over the place in this movie. This man, like, he had to have done facial stretches between every scene. The amount of mugging that he does.
Yeah.
That's another like layer of surrealness. Is like his face is never still in this entire film. He is like grinning in unnatural ways and like twisting his eyes up, and like you can tell he's like trying to be like I don't know, a Popeye character or something. Like
Yeah, definitely trying to be very cartoony for sure.
yeah.
Like even when we meet him, like at the start of the film, he's just like mugging.
Yeah.
And like you can tell that he's just broken his celly. Like this man is so scared of him, and he doesn't know how to count, so he's like asking him to count for him.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
And I mean, we know like he's a certified rapist, like as is evident later in the film. So, you know, who knows what he's done to this poor cellmate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, by the way, you know, this movie isn't problematic about being transphobic or homophobic or any of that nonsense, but it sure does love it some rape jokes.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Just traditional cishet rape humor.
And maybe a little bit of homophobia in like they're talking about how they raise their kids and like, oh, he'll turn out to be a sissy if you do this. But they also like make fun of that character later on and like show that he's an asshole. So it's like kind of borderline in that case, I guess.
I took it as like this movie is saying he's wrong.
Yeah.
So his existence in the film is almost like that everything this person says shouldn't be taken seriously, and he's wrong and he's stupid. So also like it seemed like it was seemed more like generic toxic masculinity than like focused on being homophobic.
I guess. Yeah. So yeah, this movie is about a hardened criminal having a change of heart. Spoilers for the very end, like basically being adopted, but like in a platonic way, if that makes sense.
Let's save the ending for later.
Okay.
It's a whole can of worms that I want to get into.
All right, well, let's just kind of go through it chronologically, because the first section of this movie before what I'm going to call the inciting incident, which is him deciding to be a baby, is pretty good. Honestly, I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, like the start of this film is decent. Like honestly, like I remember like looking over at you and being like, "Oh, this isn't so bad." Like, cause you prepared, y'all. He prepared me. He's like, "Ari, this movie is awful. I want to prepare you." And I was like, "Okay." And then we're watching it. In the first 15 minutes of this film, I'm like, "Ah, this isn't so bad. Like, this is."
Yeah.
And then. Yeah, so I would agree with you. Like the first 15 minutes of this movie are actually pretty decent. Like it's like not something I would choose to watch on its own if it had just been that the whole time, but like clearly wasn't. But yeah, when I look over at him and like it's like right before the baby thing is about to start.
I was like
Tristan was like, "No, Ari, it's gonna get worse."
It has not even started yet.
Yeah, he was like, the plot of this film hasn't even started yet, and I was like, oh no.
So first section, he gets out of prison. He's picked up by Tracy Morgan, and Tracy's the one who like tells him about this diamond heist job.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he's like, you need work. Here's work.
Yeah. The diamond is being held not in a museum, just kind of in the middle of this jewelry store. It's a diamond as big as little man's fist, which is like a toddler fist, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something that's done, but whatever, it's there. They sneak little man in a duffel bag. So Tracy comes in, he drops the duffel bag, and then little man's feet pop out the bottom, and he waddles over.
The Looney Tunes shenanigans immediately commencing for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the way he steals the diamond, where he like cuts like a circular hole underneath it, and like
and then Tracy distracts the, I guess, only worker.
Oh my.
All right, I guess
God.
he just has to like have an alibi for being there.
Yeah.
So he talks to this woman who's, obviously very white, upper class, but she's like trying to cater to, like rap stars, because they, rap stars, they love their bling.
Yeah.
And so she's like adopting all of this like urban vernacular and
very poorly. She's like a Minnesotan accent or some
Yeah.
shit. Like, oh God. I'm cringing now just thinking about it.
Pretty funny though.
It is funny. It's cringe humor, but it is funny.
Like I appreciate like the point of view behind it, you know?
Yeah.
It made sense that she would.
Well, yeah, because it's very much spoken from like probably their own experience as African American people. Like,
Yeah.
because he walks into the store and she's immediately suspicious, and as soon as he's like, no, I'm a rapper, I'm looking to buy a bunch of jewels, like,
And she's like, oh, for shizzle.
yeah,
like,
exactly.
you know.
Like her demeanor changed immediately because like being a rap star disarmed the white people in the situation, which is like,
Yeah.
I get it. I get what they're trying to say, and it actually is well done satire for sure. I wish the rest of the movie was like that.
Yeah, exactly. And so they get the diamond. He gets back in his bag, but there's like a chihuahua that was loose and like ends up in the bag with him and like starts fighting him in there. And then the woman's like, he's stealing my dog. And then they have to run, and then police get called, you know. And what is it? They get in the car and it has a boot on it, so they have to like just take off on foot.
Fastest boot in the Midwest. And what he blames his ex for it. Like he doesn't even blame like the department, like the DMV or whatever. He blames his ex-wife for it or something like that. He's like, oh, she found me. Like,
I guess I missed that line, but the point is like this forces them to like duck into a like convenience store, drugstore or something, and there's two cops after him, and this is my second like favorite writing gag or character, I guess, in the movie. Is it's this white cop and a black cop, and the black cop is like so overzealous and like
and like clearly clearly trying to fit in with his white colleagues, like definitely.
Yeah, like I feel like I don't quite have the vocabulary to like pick apart the satire, but I feel like I get
there's a few words that I can use that I'm not going to use to describe him.
Sure.
But you audience at home know exactly what I'm talking about. And for reference, it's well done. Again, like the first 15 minutes of this movie are well done satire about just like a black experience in America.
I want to give credit to the actor because that's like, he's a huge part of why it works. Like the amount of energy that he brings to this role.
Yeah. And you only see him like what, 3 times in the whole movie or something like that? But yeah. So
like, you know, they go into this convenience store. You know, this guy immediately just assaults a random black man, and then the white officer is like, "Oh no, this isn't our guy. See, we were described, you know, like a caramel mocha, and this guy is more of like a decaf with maybe a little bit of cream." And like,
oh God, yeah. Clearly, the Wayans brothers had like stuff to vent in this movie.
Yeah. But plot wise, what happens is that little man stashes the diamond. I'm never going to call him Cal. You should have just called him Little Man in the synopsis, because that is his name to me.
Oh my God.
Little man stashes the diamond in this random woman's purse.
Which, great plan.
Yeah.
Why was that necessary? They were already looking for him. So if he stashes the diamond, they just don't find it on him. Like, they still know he stole it. They're still looking for him.
Yeah. But it works in this context. And so then all he has to do is follow her and steal the diamond from her, you see. And the deal with this couple...
Yeah, Daryl and Vanessa. Shawn Wayans and Kerry Washington.
Yeah, Shawn Wayans, who, you know, typically plays like kind of more of the straight man in these movies.
Yeah.
He plays a guy who is like trying really hard to provide for his wife, who is already like, what, a lawyer or something?
Yeah, and also like has a impreg fetish, like pretty strong.
Well, okay.
Like, let's be real.
For
here.
hetero couples, we don't call it that.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. We call them breeders.
These two fucking breeders, they're
No, but like she's like, no, I don't want a kid. Like kids, she has some like legitimate concerns about having a kid.
She wants a child at, quote, the right time
Yeah,
in
exactly.
her career. And he really wants a kid. I don't know if we know like how long they've been married, but
they're not, I think.
No, they're married.
Are they? Because it's like he engaged. It's like I thought they were engaged. Are they married?
Well,
oh shit.
I guess I'm not totally sure if they're engaged or married, but they've definitely been together for a while.
Yeah, and this homeboy gave her a ring with like without a diamond.
Yeah, that was a pretty good gag too.
And I'm
like he gave her a ring with like, what do you call that? Where you put the diamond. It has like the 4 prongs.
Yeah, I forget what it's called. I'm like it's escaping me what it's called.
The diamond mount.
The mounting or whatever. Yeah, exactly. So it's just like, and it's like, that's going to catch on everything.
Right.
And everybody, like I have a ring that I wear every day for the most part. And it doesn't stick out like that. And it catches on shit all the time.
Right.
I could not imagine wearing a ring without any jewel in it. Like it doesn't have anything to weigh. And then, oh my God. Anyway.
Yeah, but he's like, once I make enough money, I'm going to get you that diamond. He's very earnest.
Yeah.
We get a scene of them in a restaurant where she's told him that she has big news and he's sure it's that she's pregnant, which is why I think they're already married, but whatever. And so he hires this guy to like come over and play a song to celebrate it
and celebrate his impreg fetish.
Exactly.
But he's way too excited about it. Like it's not like the normal like, oh, I'm gonna be a dad. It's like he's like, yeah, you're pregnant. Oh God, like
all my dreams are coming true.
I know exactly. I'm like homeboy, like
yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like the heightened cartooniness of it, I guess.
Sure, but I wear glasses, so I literally paid to see this shit twice.
But the news is not that she's pregnant, it's that she got a promotion, and
which is a better thing objectively for their relationship because now you can afford more things.
More babies.
Oh God.
So anyway, that has all been established, and then it's not something that either Tracy or Little Man knew, but they just happened to come up with the perfect plan of disguising the little man as a baby, putting him on their doorstep, and
getting pissed on.
Yep. The very first thing, like as soon as he's in that baby costume, the movie changes. And the first thing that happens is a large dog walks up to this baby in a basket, tries to steal his blanket, and then pees in his mouth.
Yep. More fetish material.
Because that's just what dogs do.
Yeah, but just every day, dogs just peeing in people's mouths. It's
yeah.
Not only am I going to kink shame, but I'm going to call the ASPCA.
Yeah. And so then Daryl comes out and he sees the baby, and of course he's touched. He wants a baby, and it smells a little bad, but he brings it inside. And I guess, God, I'm about to describe the dog peeing on him as a plot point because I guess that's what prompts them to change his diaper. Okay. So it had a purpose to set up this next gag.
Sure did have a purpose. Yeah.
Where they take off his diaper and they're like, whoa. This infant has a huge schlong. And about this point, you're starting to understand the movie that you're in for.
Yep. And I was at this point that I looked over to Tristan and said, "Fuck you." And for my part in it, I did finish watching this movie. There's not really much of a plot after this point.
Right.
So
like I said, it can be summed up with hijinks ensue. There's a lot of, these sort of crude sex jokes and like,
the thermometer joke. That's the one.
Of course, you know, there's going to be a rectal thermometer.
That's the one that really got me. That's the darkest joke in this movie, like next to the rape scene.
Right.
Which,
aside from the rape jokes. Yeah.
I'm just like...
Because little man is strong. He's as strong as a grown man.
Yeah.
And so Daryl, trying to be a good father, needs to take this baby's temperature. And like, here comes the airplane. And like flipping him over, pinning him down. There's like a huge fight.
Yeah, because like he's like about to put it in his mouth, and then Vanessa's like, "No, that's a rectal thermometer. This is an infant."
Yeah. Yep.
And just like, oh god, it's so dark. It's so dark. And like, oh my god. And you know, like again, but that joke is funny to me. It doesn't bother me. The rape joke fucking bothers me.
Yeah. Okay. Let's. So basically, there's a point in the movie where Daryl and Vanessa like get it on in the bed, and Vanessa's like weirded out that little man, the baby, is
licking his teeth. He licks his fucking teeth
in the room in his crib, watching them intently. Making lewd facial expressions, and
like, okay, you know, licking your lips is already like lewd, but when you lick your fucking teeth, it's just like an extra like. It makes it worse. It makes it so much worse.
But that's not the part. The part comes the next morning when Daryl comes back and he's like, well, what a night, right? And she's like, oh my God, I can't remember the last time we did it twice in one night. And he's like, twice? And then she moves the blankets and little man is in the bed with her.
Yep. And that's where the movie lost me completely. I was like, okay, I'm done. Like,
Yep. So you had a point though, when we were talking about it afterward, where it's like not all of these super crass jokes, like one after the other.
Yeah. So like a lot of this like genre of like stoner comedy has this like frenetic, like you do not get a single break. There is no joke. There's no pause between jokes. It's just like bit.
Yeah, no peaks and valleys.
Right. It's like even if like you watch other Wayans Brothers movies, the like Scary Movie, for example, it's just bit after bit after bit after bit after bit after bit. And so it's like you get really numb to it. Whereas I think this movie does itself simultaneously a service, in my opinion, but also a disservice to the genre it's trying to invoke, because that frenetic pace allows them to just to slip in the most problematic shit ever, and you just like miss it again. Like, why I didn't remember half the transphobic stuff in this stoner comedy genre because like it just joke. Whereas this movie kind of like drops it down, lets you take a break, joke.
Yeah, it has different types of humor.
Yeah. And the humor's much more consistent. Like the jokes are all consistent. Whereas like other Wayans Brother movies, the jokes kind of just come out of left field sometimes. It's like, oh, what the fuck? Like, I don't understand where this joke is. Why are we parodying this movie right now? Like, whereas this is like, because it's not parodying movies or because it's not like whatever, it's taking the time to really like explore this ridiculous concept of a grown man,
which apparently had a lot of meat on that bone.
Yeah, this movie is like, I remember pausing it and I was like, oh, this movie's still got an hour left. It's like a 2-hour movie or something like that.
No, it's not. It just feels that way.
It feels like a 5. I feel like I was watching it for 87 years. Like,
yeah. Yeah, but like, for example, they'll do a crude joke and then like there's one where they put him in the crib for the first time and he's like plotting like, okay, I just have to wait for them to fall asleep and then I'll go get this diamond. And as he's like plotting that, he's watching the
mobile and
in the crib and he gets sleepier and sleepier.
Yeah, I was like, that's the best example, is because like they do this thing where they have like a really intense joke and it's like, that was like the thermometer joke is what happens before that. And then they sit him down in the crib and they're like, oh, okay, you just gotta wait for them to fall asleep. And I'm like expecting them to do another crude joke,
Mm-hmm.
but they're like they subvert my expectations by just like having him actually fall asleep.
The most innocent joke possible.
Exactly. And I was like, oh, okay. So this movie is, and it does that. It goes back and forth, back and forth. So it's like, for example, another example is when he steals the dad's breakfast with the slingshotting. Like that's,
we haven't even talked about the dad.
Yeah. Okay. So let's segue into the dad. But that's another example of like a very innocent joke. That was really fun. I was like, oh, this is stupid. Like this is so dumb. But
Vanessa's father lives with them.
Yeah.
And he's a crotchety old guy, and he immediately doesn't like little man and is suspicious.
Well, it's nice crotchety. Like him and his daughter have like a really intensely overblown who's the best dad in the world. Like it makes me uncomfortable.
That was another of the like more innocent jokes though. Like she comes home and he's there and she's like, who's the best daddy in the whole wide world? He's like, I am. And like, no, who's the best daddy? And he's like, I'm the best daddy in the whole wide world. It's like like he's a toddler.
It's so like wholesome that it's uncomfortable in this movie.
Yeah.
Because like this movie at this point has been crass.
Yeah.
It's not like up until this point it hasn't made like disgusting jokes.
I mean, yeah, that was like immediately after what, the dog piss joke?
No, because they come home like the night before this happens. Like this is before like the movie plot starts properly.
Okay. It's just before the dog piss.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is the calm before the storm.
And I'm like, oh, it's so wholesome. Like I wish I had that kind of a positive relationship with my father.
Maybe not that exact relationship.
No, but like a
positive
wholesome.
one.
It's wholesome. It's clearly like they have a good communication, and then you just watch it get destroyed through this movie.
Yeah. So he distrusts little man, and the breakfast stealing scene.
Yeah.
The breakfast stealing scene is with little man in is that called a jumper, or is that a
a sling? Like I don't know. Like I don't know what the technical term is.
One of those,
I've never had a child. I don't know what the technical term is.
Rubber band, jumpy, bouncy.
Yeah,
that's what it's called. And so he's like using that to like launch himself up to the breakfast table while he's old man is reading a newspaper, and then like he'll quickly put the paper down, and he's like standing still and stops chewing. And you know, you've seen the bit.
Yeah.
But it's weird in this context.
Especially because like before and after it comes just like super dark jokes.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Yeah. So that's like kind of another like dizzying aspect of the movie is, like you said, with movies like Scary Movie, or another good example would be like, disaster movie, epic movie, date movie,
God, yeah.
whatever.
Epic movies.
Meet the Spartans. Like that whole series is numbing.
Yeah, by the time you get to the end of it, like you're not feeling catharsis. Comedy, for the most part, you feel catharsis after the comedy because you have a lot of emotional release. But whereas the tactic that stoner comedy tends to take is, I'm going to exhaust you with frenetic, constant bits that are disturbing and vulgar and offensive. And by the time you walk away, you get a feeling like catharsis, but it's actually just that you're numb.
You're free.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we narrow it down even more to like stoner spoof comedy.
Well, no, because like I feel like Dude, Where's My Car is also like this, and that's not really a spoof. They're not making fun of anything. It's because this isn't a spoof. It's I mean, it's a satire of like the heist film format, I guess, kind of, but
no, it's not a spoof.
Exactly. And so like but like it's like the only one in this subgenre of comedy that I can think of that doesn't just constantly hit you with disgusting jokes.
Yeah.
Even other Wayne's brother, like they had like restraint with this movie for some reason. Like
but
they had restraint for the volume, not for the content.
Right. Very important. And I think it makes it more impactful, like for better and worse.
Yeah, like I can remember the jokes in this movie very like explicitly.
Yeah.
Which I think is like, wow, okay. I wish more stoner comedies took the time to like put some innocent jokes.
Yeah.
And just not just make it like, because you know, after the like 15th sex joke, you just start to like.
Yeah. Unless you're 15 years old and they're new to you.
Right. Yeah. You haven't explored humor. You know, like you always like. When you find something out when you're 15 and you're reading it, you're like, wow, this is so great. And you don't realize how derivative it is of everything else. And this is derivative. It's not like the jokes are like wholly in a vacuum original content, but it is, I would say, a more,
it's surprising.
Yeah. Like the premise is definitely unique. Like the inciting premise of him being this like tiny person that's going to pretend to be a kid.
Yeah.
And I did say this. It's a horror movie wearing a stoner comedy as like it has killed a stoner comedy in the back alley and it's wearing its skin. The concept, because I was watching this and I'm like, this is so creepy. Like, and I don't mean like creepy, like, haha, it's so funny because it's so uncanny. I mean like legitimately like the concept of a grown ass man pretending to be a child, letting you change their diaper, letting you feed them a bottle, putting them on your nipples, like because he gets breastfed by some lady or like later on, like and the horror through implication. You know, honestly, this movie
it fits in better than we thought.
Yeah, because it's all about horror of implication, like, which is why the ending of this movie fucking pisses me off, because they're just like, we're done, we're done, we're done now, like.
By the way, it's Alex Borstein. Whose nipple he nurses at.
Yeah, and bites.
Not just some woman.
Yeah. Okay.
Lois from Family Guy.
Oh, okay. I didn't make that connection. It essentially follows the same beats as The Orphan.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen The Orphan, but I've read fan fiction of it and had the plot explained to me.
Yes, by the way,
by a child.
Check out the sister show to ours, Fanfiction Theater.
Fanfiction Theater. It was not a good fanfic. I mean, even for us.
I mean, I was going to say, by your standards, that's...
Drew Brock from Drawback Productions has a daughter, and she loves horror movies from about like 6 years old. And so she loves the Orphan series, and so she came on to read the part of whatever the fuck her name is. I can't remember now.
I was about to talk a bunch of shit about liking the Orphan series because the plot twist only works once, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I like Hellraisers, so I can't throw stones in glass houses.
Yeah.
Everything past the second movie until the most recent one is... Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
So let's talk about Orphan.
Yeah. Let's talk about Orphan. Let's not talk about my garbage. Let's talk about this other garbage.
My understanding is that it is a small woman, a little woman, one could say. A
little woman. Yeah, exactly. This little woman.
Who is child-sized, more or less.
Yeah. She has like a condition that makes her permanently a child, basically.
Right. Of course. Why not? And she poses as a child in order to get adopted, and then she like seduces the patriarch of the family.
Yeah, so she basically has like, oh, by the way, we're just spoiling the shit out of Orphan, by the way. She like has this, she's a serial killer basically, and she has her ritual is to get adopted by a family, be their creepy daughter for a while, and then seduce the man, and then kill the wife, and then like get the husband to commit suicide or something like that. I can't remember. It's unclear.
Step 3, ? Step 4, profit?
Well, yeah. but she's actually like a 36-year-old woman, and that's like the twist. You've been doing all this kid stuff with a 36-year-old woman or whatever. And so this movie, Little Man, really made me think about The Orphan, because it's so similar in premise. Like the reasons why they're doing it are different.
Right.
But it's still like the idea is like we're pretending to be a child, And it's really creepy
Yeah.
because the twist is, oh, actually, they're an adult. And the only difference is that in The Orphan, we get that twist at the end, and Little Man, we get the twist up front. And that's literally the only difference between it being a comedy and a horror movie.
And the murders.
Well, yeah, but they're like...
There are the murders.
Murder's a matter of perspective, okay?
Sure.
No, I just mean like in general, like if Little Man, the reveal at the end was that they were the human, like
Uh-huh.
I don't know where that came from. Oh God. No, so instead of them being a child, they're actually a grown adult. And it's really creepy. And the only reason that you would not find it necessarily creepy with the premise of Little Man is just because we're told up front. And we're like, we've had jokes up until this point.
Right.
So like, but if you took the script of Little Man and you just...
Yeah, if we just like cut out Cal's point of view and we just had this couple wanting a baby and then cut to them finding a baby.
Exactly. Like you could do like a Screen Junkies style, like that was Corridor Crew. That's what it was. But anyway, they've done like the horror movie Home Alone. You could easily cut this to just be a horror movie. And I think that like the comparison to The Orphan is very interesting because again, the crime that they're committing is different, but the entire like engine that drives the story is the same.
Yeah.
Just like Orphan has scary music and
yeah.
They even fuck one of them. Like the sex part is even the same. Well, he turns her down in The Orphan, but like they try to fuck one of the parental figures.
Yeah, Little Man has more success.
Yeah, Little Man's just more successful than The Orphan.
She should take tips.
I guess.
So yeah, where do we go from here? So I'm thinking about like the other parents. Like they have this group of like couples who have kids. And I guess they had these friends even before they had a child.
Yes.
And like which is slightly weird to me because it seems like a very like parent group.
Yeah, they're the only ones who don't have kids. Like no wonder Daryl feels pressured to have a child. All his friends have a bunch of kids.
Yeah, it's like their entire friend group. One of them is Fred Stoller. Always great to see Fred Stoller. And one of them is Alex Borstein, like I said. And guy who's in like all the scary movies, Lachlan Monroe.
Those are some names. I don't.
He's
I don't know names. I don't retain names in my head. Like,
but you recognized him from the scary movies, though, right? He was the
of
jock
course.
dad.
Yeah, I recognize actors, but I have no idea what anyone's
Yeah, I
names
mean,
are.
I never knew his name either, but somebody might. And he's the like jock type that's in
That's
the
just
scary
a piece
movies.
of garbage for no reason. Like,
yeah, he's raising his kid to be super tough and so anyway, like we first meet them when they come over to Vanessa and Darren's house, and everyone's like shocked and appalled at Little Man
because he's ghastly.
He's just ghastly. Yeah, he's a horrifying visage, and and then jock guy has hot wife, big boob.
Yep, and so the sexual predator themes continue because
Little Man manipulates his way into her lap, and then he's just like trying to grab her breasts, and she's like, "Oh, he must be hungry. Do you want a nurse?" And then the twist is he gets nursed by Alex Borstein, who is heavier set woman.
Still attractive.
Yeah.
It still has huge boobs.
But this is horrifying to him, and she has like a like a poncho kind of thing.
Yeah, one of those like nursing things. Yeah.
Puts him under so she can basically do that thing we were talking about in Phantasm, where characters have a supernatural horror that they just have to like hold against themselves or like
yeah, exactly.
fake fight against.
Uh-huh.
She's doing that with, little man under her, trying to get him to latch
Yep,
onto
and
her.
he bites the ever-loving bejesus out of her nipple, and she
Yep.
screams, and that's the joke. Haha, so funny.
So funny. But I want to talk about this group because I feel like if we're going to find any kind of themes or like message, it's going to be through this angle because, it spent a lot of time developing like the idea of parenthood and, Darren just really wants this kind of relationship and he's getting a lot out of it.
Oh, yeah, I remember now. I think I said this after we watched it. It was like the egotism of parenthood is a strong theme in this movie. Everything about people's relationships with their kids. What is Lois's actress's name?
I keep saying Darren. It's Daryl. I don't know why that's hard to remember.
Oh, yeah, but what's her name again?
Oh, Alex Borstein.
Alex. Okay, so Alex's character has a whole rant. Like, she's a goddess to her children, is what she basically goes off about. Then, super jock asshole also talks about how he doesn't want his kids to make him look bad. Mm-hmm. And then like the only one who's not like a piece of nonsense garbage is the like shy dad. I don't remember what
Fred Stoller.
Yeah, Fred Stoller. Yeah, I don't remember his character name, but like
who cares?
Yeah, but like he's like the only decent parent in this fucking movie. Like because he's like, oh well, I don't want to like
he's so gentle with him,
He's like, well, I don't want to push my kid to do something they're not comfortable with. And like he's a soft parent. And obviously the Wayans brothers think that soft parenting is something to be like mocked.
They try to make these like extreme ends of the spectrum, I guess.
But the soft parent is the one that's most chill. Like, yeah, okay, sure. Don't make your kid, because like randomly super jock dad is like, let's all play football. And it's like, it's supposed to be tag football, but then it turns into full contact football. And the other, he's like really like the nervous dad's like super reserved about it. And like, hey, like that's not cool. We shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
And he's right.
Yeah. Yeah, Jock Dad is just like shoving the kids down. Like
just being a dick.
I'm not sure how old these kids are supposed to be.
Like second, 4? Like first 4 to like 6.
Yeah, and then little man is ostensibly supposed to be an infant, but they're like, yeah, put him in.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's like toddler, so like playing 2 or 3.
Okay. I still wouldn't put a 2-year-old in a football game, but
that's
just me.
Yeah, but he decks out homeboy, like.
Yeah, of course.
And I think like ultimately what we're supposed to take away from that is that super jock dad is wrong.
Yeah. And
that the more sensitive parent is actually more correct because his kid gets to do the touchdown and get celebrated, and like the writing of the script is implying that the sensitive parent is the better parent. And I think that that's supported by the fact that them throwing that birthday party for him is when he begins to actually shift. Like when little mans get that birthday party, like it shifts his perspective on this whole situation. And he then that implants the seed for what later comes, because he himself is like, oh, these people care about me. Like, even though I'm here under false pretenses, these people care. And this is what like healthy relationships are like.
Yeah. And also Daryl is himself a gentle dad ultimately.
Yeah, exactly. He's like there's that scene, a really good scene where like he makes him some more milk because he's like, hey, like sometimes shit is like difficult, and I'm always here for a warm glass of milk with you. And
I'm trying my best.
Yeah, and I'm like, exactly. So like the movie's thesis, if it has one, is that sensitive parenting that's focused on your child is what is important, because all of the parents who have egotism issues are shown to be wrong in some way or another. Like through physical violence, the movie shows them they're wrong. So she gets her nipple bit really hard and he gets tackled. Super jock dad gets tackled, and both of those things are, I think, the movie saying these are the wrong ways to feel about things.
Yeah,
like you shouldn't have kids for yourself. You shouldn't have kids because they make you feel good. You should have kids because you feel like you want to develop another human being in this world.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that you encouraged me to get existential about fucking Little Man.
Oh, we've got to.
But this is just proof, audience, that I can do this with anything.
Yeah. We'll be putting this to the test on and off throughout the series.
Tristan has seen it though. He's seen me pull out.
I've seen it. Oh, you're okay. I thought you were talking about Little Man. I was like, I've seen it a few times.
No, I just mean like you've like. I'm just saying like I'm not making that up. Like I can do that with most things.
Yeah. No, I really admire that about you.
Oh, thank you.
Why I wanted to do this podcast with you.
Oh my God, though. I would defy you to try and find another theme in this movie, though. Like,
no, that's a step further than I would have been able to take it. So
I think if that monologue that she has wasn't there about how her kids worship her as a goddess, I don't feel like I would have found that theme. I think that was like the connecting tissue that drew it out of the movie for me.
Yeah, and that's Alex Borstein talking to Vanessa, and the function that it serves in the plot is it softens Vanessa up to the idea of being a mother.
Right, but I think it's bad advice.
Yeah. So before we get to the ending, I want to talk about like another like oasis of comedy in this movie that's like not cringe or rapey. Basically, Little Man has this plot with Tracy Morgan he stashes the diamond in a diaper bag, and then when they go to the park, Tracy's supposed to steal it.
Yeah.
He ends up getting the wrong bag, and all the moms like see that he's there without a kid, and they attack him and beat him to death. He doesn't actually die.
Yeah, I know, but like it's implied that they're gonna like
they
go for him. They're like curb stomping him, and like he doesn't have any bruises in the next scene either, which I think is a missed opportunity. They should have like covered him in like bruise makeup.
Yeah, maybe. But that leads to Little Man to make a desperate like change of plans, and he like they're loading their stuff into the trunk to go home, and he keeps asking for the keys to the car, and Daryl's like, no, I need the keys, and Little Man just starts kicking the shit out of his shins. Goes on for a long time.
Yeah, he does it like 4 times, like. And finally, Daryl relents and just gives him the keys.
Yeah. And then Little Man drives off in the car. And
how is he reaching the pedal?
Because he has the big goofy bat. Remember? They show him using that.
That's right.
Anyway, he drives off in this car, and Daryl, being a man of logic, thinks
in a very illogical world.
Yeah, thinks somebody stole my car with Little Man in it. And so he like flags down this minivan that's driving, and he's like, somebody stole my car with my kid in it, and it's Molly Shannon. She's like, get in, and she hits the gas. And this like Molly Shannon is my favorite character in this movie.
Yeah.
She's this like busy mom, is a demon behind the wheel, and like really distracted driver, and like yelling at everybody else on the road. It's not as funny when I explain it, but
she like oscillates between being like, oh, I'm so sorry for you, like I'm gonna help you, like
yeah
she's like really sensitive to Daryl, but then like to her kid she's like, shut the fuck up, like
yeah and like her youngest like needs his diaper change in the backseat, and she like turns around while driving to do that with like her foot on the wheel. And all the while, of course, Daryl is like screaming and crying, and she's like, oh God, you're really worried about your kid, aren't you? And
he's just like, let me out of this.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that also plays into my theme of the parentage thing. Because she's all about image. Okay, it's all about image.
Mm-hmm.
Like parents who make it about their image, they are under the surface bad parents. So like she's like talking about, this is like, you're such a good dad, and this is what you're supposed to do, but then like when her kids are like trying to get her attention, she's like, I'm putting on my makeup, don't talk to me, and like clearly a lot of the stuff that she's doing is selfish.
Yeah,
she's a selfish mom, and the same way that Alex is a selfish mom, and the same way that Jock Dad is a selfish dad. You know, it's like it's all about ego and image to them.
Yeah,
which I think is further encapsulated by this, because I think does this take place before? Because they have the birthday party idea because of this, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. So this is like, I think this establishes the premise, and then the birthday party sends home the theme, and like that's when the movie's like, this is our message, is what we're trying to say.
Yeah. So now I guess we can get into the climax, which is where the mafia guys, like, they're fed up. They're just gonna go.
They think that Daryl is the partner.
Right. There's like a mix up where like they think Daryl is Tracy Morgan's partner, and that Daryl has cut Tracy out of it, so they're just gonna go to his house and
just like kill him. And take the diamond.
And then little man like learns about this and like has a change of heart moment where he's like, I can't let that happen to them.
Yeah, he's come to care about them because they cared about him.
Yeah. But then, like, once the mafia guys show up, the tone kind of shifts to be like even more like zany.
Yeah, somebody went in and just like took that dial and just like cranked it up until it broke off the handle, because
and
it was a little Looney Tunes before, but at this end scene is just straight up something out of Acme. Like
yeah. So he's got two thugs. They send one of them to watch little man. They were gonna kill Daryl, and they were like, okay, not in front of his kid. Take the kid upstairs.
They've got integrity. They've got they've got standards.
So we have this sequence where the biggest thug puts him in the crib, and then he switches off the light, and we have like this silhouette scene, so it can be like even more literally cartoony.
Yeah,
where he has this bat, and it's still just like the big,
just like a wiffle bat,
harmless bat, and he like beats him over the head a few times, and then the thug turns back on the light and like, whoa, what happened? And it goes on for a while.
Way too long. It's like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
it's so long while he like slowly incapacitates this guy and doesn't actually fully knock him out at any point, just like
yeah. And then like there's a scene where Daryl escapes to like his garage, and he puts on these big like
slap hands.
Yeah, slap hands, I guess, and like they have like sound effects in them, and so when Mafia Boss comes in, Daryl slaps him around with a bunch of wacky sound effects. The guy drops his gun, and then Daryl picks up the gun, but he still has the slappy hands on. He's just like holding it between them.
Also, like an interesting point that this is this film simultaneously drops the ball and also knocks it out of the park, is that like all the toys that little man uses to assault the mob bosses were established earlier in the movie with that scene at the park, whereas those slap hands and the room that they go into, for that matter, have never been seen in the movie up till this point. They just come out of fucking nowhere.
When she says established, what Ari means is that they've established to be crotch seeking. They're toys that were brought to the park, and it's like an airplane. You throw it, and it comes back and hits Daryl in the crotch, and there's like a rocket that you pump up and
hits him in the dick.
Just everything hits him in the dick.
You know what's really funny though is that this movie again exercises its restraint, because at no point do they overuse hitting someone in the balls.
I guess it depends.
It's really like it's that park scene to like, it's a funny joke, but then it comes back later as the way that little man beats the final villain by hitting him in the dick. So it's like, oh, okay, no, like it was set up and payoff, and they didn't just have a bunch of dick hitting jokes throughout the whole film.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like I feel like that was a very restrained way to use that kind of humor, because it didn't get old. It was funny when it happened in the park. I remember laughing. I was like, oh, that's funny. And then it happens at the end, and I'm laughing because I'm like, oh, the movie made me a promise earlier and then cashed the check for it. Like,
yeah, and we didn't see it coming.
Yeah, no, like when he uses it, like as soon as he pulls up the plane, I'm like, I know what's happening,
but like in the previous scene, it wasn't obvious that it was like setting up for something,
right?
Yeah,
and again, it's just like ties into that like parentage thing of like a lot of these toys for kids end up hurting you, which as someone who helped run a daycare with my grandmother for a long time, like a lot of these kids toys can be used to do so much damage to you. Like nothing like stepping on a mega block in the dark or getting a wiffle bat to the like to your back. It stings. Like, I don't know. It felt very real.
Yeah. But yeah, so it gets very wacky, but I guess for me the difference is the edge that it had just completely disappears.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it feels weird to say that this movie should have had more crude bits in it, but I think like when that's the established pattern, it feels odd when it's just flipped off like a switch.
I concur with that because especially like the movie's really dark.
Yeah.
Like in a way that you don't really notice at first, but then when they do this last bit, that's the difference. It's all Looney Tunes to the whole thing, but it's not dark anymore, really. Like the mob is going to kill him and it's like, oh, okay, well, but like it's not the dark humor that we've come to expect.
Yeah, like I would expect it to be like Home Alone. Like Home Alone is pretty brutal.
Yes.
I would expect that level. Like it can still be zany, but it needs like some bite to it.
Yeah, because like nothing he does to any of these mobsters really messes them up that bad. Like,
no.
The one that got hit with the wiffle bat has a lot of bruises on his face, but that's basically it. Like,
yeah, like one of them gets knocked into the pantry and a bunch of cans fall on him, but
again, that's really it. Like, the way they take out the bad guy at the end is just hit him in the balls. Like,
yep.
Whereas like Home Alone, you have an in-depth scene of a person putting a nail into their foot, like.
Yeah, and getting burned
and walking over glass.
Yeah,
getting branded. Like, yeah. The theories that McAllister is actually just Jigsaw are.
Yeah.
But like, let's talk about the end because this movie just gives up. It doesn't.
Yeah, I think it's because they were like angling for this sincere ending, and they were like, okay, we gotta like put a little bit of a buffer.
They fumbled the bag so hard on the end. Because like, okay, little man has sexually assaulted Daryl's wife, lied to him for several days.
Yeah.
Let him treat him like a baby in a really weird way. Walked around his house, tried to use him to launder a diamond, and Daryl's just like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Like, so the resolution is Daryl finds out that little man is a little man.
Yeah.
And because there's, I guess in part because there's a $100,000 reward for the diamond that he'll be receiving, like that's part of the reason he forgives him. But what he says in the movie is like, it was also, it was cool, like getting to be a dad, getting to have a kid. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like, bro.
You would need therapy.
That's what I mean. When I call him a breeder earlier, or when I say he's got a birthing fetish, an impreg fetish, like that's what I mean. Like he's clearly deranged because he doesn't care that this guy was just a guy in his house pretending to be a kid. That's what I say. Like the horror of implication in this movie is so real, and the movie just doesn't care about it. Like.
Yeah.
We need there to be a sincere resolution so it comes off as the most insincere possible resolution. Yeah. Because like what he does is little man's like, okay, I'm going to leave. And he picks up one of his toys and starts comedically crying as he walks away. And,
yeah.
And then Daryl's like, yeah, you know what? You want to come in for a glass of milk? And it's like, okay, sure, the movie established that earlier and it's bringing it back, calling it back. But no, the real resolution to this movie should have been little man walking away pathetic and sad because the only thing that meant anything to his life was this fake child thing that he did. And that would have been it should have been dark like that because that would have fit with the tone of the rest of the movie. Like, He doesn't get
I
the
don't know.
diamond.
I
He
mean,
doesn't.
you need some kind of a twist on it, but
Him like leaving away like pathetic like that would have been a twist, because the convention is to twist it around and be like, no, it's okay, I forgive you. But like no, a denial of forgiveness at the end would have been way funnier. Just because it's like he walks away all pathetic and sad and then the movie ends.
yeah.
Like that, I don't know. I feel like that would have fit the tone of the movie a little bit better, because the rest of the movie is like that.
Hi. Where? Hello.
Looking for single cats in her area.
Okay.
So, pet distraction aside, to conclude, I think that a denial of closure would have really served this movie well for its themes.
Yeah. Any kind of dark twist.
I guess the like, oh, well, actually little man knocked up Vanessa. Like that was, there's like an after credit scene.
Jesus. Yeah, that would.
This is 2006, so it's before Marvel is doing this. There's just like a random after credit scene.
Oh, that's not what happened. The actual like after or mid credit scene is that we see Daryl's kid and it's Daryl's face, like Sean Wayne's face imposed.
I totally misread the implications of that. Like, I totally misread the implications of that. Okay, well, like, oh look, this movie did not set me up to have high expectations.
No, that's fair, but they didn't go that far. But maybe they should have. I don't know.
It would have been more on brand for the movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so overall, we like the intro to this movie. The jokes in the middle are kind of hit and miss, and the ending fumbles the bag, I think is kind of where we're at right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Like it a surprising and baffling like mix of highs and lows and shocks and
Uncanny Valley.
Lot of Uncanny Valley.
They just didn't get the face tracking right. Like they clearly had to have rotoscoped his face.
Yeah.
Like, and that's a lot of work. There's a reason this 64, like nowadays you could probably pull off this effect for much cheaper. Like most of their budget clearly went into doing this face effect.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. 2006, Davy Jones' Locker, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, you're right. That is from the same time period, isn't it?
Yeah. I think it should have been Little Man up there. I think it should have at least been nominated.
Oh my god, I forgot that those movies were coming out around this time period.
Yeah.
Never mind. This movie had no excuse.
No, genuinely, I think the effects are like amazing for the time, and it's amazing that they put this much effort into this caliber of movie.
Right. It's got so much effort that was put into something that's kind of really stupid.
And it's hard to look at, but also you can't look away.
I don't really like this subgenre.
Yeah.
So my feelings on it were I was surprised. My expectations are in hell.
Yeah.
For this genre.
Yeah.
So
this genre being like the stoner, like
stoner comedy, satire comedy, that kind of stuff. My expectations are in like the abyssal plane of the ocean. And so this movie pleasantly surprised those expectations, but it drops the bag so hard in the end that it pisses me off more than any of the other stoner comedies that I can think of.
Yeah. Which, when they're over, you're just kind of glad that it's done and you can move on with your life.
Yeah, where it's like, like it's like, okay, you go to a strip club and you're paying a stripper to like give you a lap dance or something. You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, whereas this was like, oh, this is like a nice, cheery person that I met, and then they turn out to just suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, the more you get to know them, you're like, oh, I've made a horrible mistake inviting you into my house.
Yeah.
Like, if you go watch a stoner comedy, you know what you're seeking. Whereas this movie tries to be better and fails, and that's worse. It gives
Yeah.
in too much.
Like it succeeds for a while, and
Yeah.
then it gives up at the end.
Exactly. Like the first 15 minutes are really good, and then it starts to give in to the corrupting influences of the tropes of the genre throughout the rest of it.
Yeah.
But then it does have like a really poignant point about parenthood and the relationships that we have with our children.
Yeah.
And then the end is just like, yeah, whatever. They're just like, we got to end this.
Yeah. And the poignant point,
It's not preachy. It's not preachy at all.
far from it. Like, we kind of had to tease it out of the movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a point that we could say that the movie made, really. It's just kind of hidden in there.
I think they were trying to make it.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to make it, but they couldn't escape the trappings of the genre conventions. Like, I feel like they got really experimental here. They were trying to do something different. They tried to write a movie that had things to say.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, even White Chicks has things to say about, like...
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, like, they were trying to, like, really make a point, and I think they just aren't capable of it. So they gave up.
Yeah, the resolution didn't, like, tie those aspects into it. It was just like, everything's fine now.
Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine now. And you're just allowed to be in our house with our child now.
Yep.
Like, you're a hardened criminal.
Do you have anything else, or are we kind of...
I think we can wrap it up.
Yeah. So what was one thing you liked and one thing you didn't like about Little Man?
I really liked the balancing act it plays between the dark comedy and the lighthearted comedy.
Yeah.
I think that with more skilled writers and less cynical intentions, this movie could have been like a top tier example of its genre. If they had just been able to balance that dark humor and light humor through the whole thing and not given up. I think that my least favorite thing has to be the grandfather. The interactions between Little Man and the grandfather, like, they had to have an antagonist in the story to keep the momentum going, but they should have just had it been the mob. Because, like, the antagonist of this film is scattered all over the place, and then they just get rid of the grandfather for, like, you don't see him again until, like, the after credit scene. Like, they have him committed, and he's gone for the last 15 minutes of the movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and before that, he's gone for a long time, just like
at a diner. He's like, I'm going to a diner, and then 2 days pass.
Yeah.
He's still at the diner. Like, the movie gets rid of him so fast when he's no longer necessary that he's just a plot device. And I feel like they wasted the potential of that character's role, because if they were satirizing the nuclear family, they easily could have created a situation where they could have satirized that nuclear family with the grandfather better than what they did. The reason it's my least favorite thing in the movie is because I'm just disappointed that they didn't use the grandfather character as a better stick to beat you over the head with. What about you? What's something you liked and something you disliked about this?
Molly Shannon is a gem. Every time I see this movie, which has been 3 times now,
God,
like,
how?
her scene just really shines in the midst of darkness.
It is. It did kind of feel like a different movie when we got to her scene. Like,
yeah, it's a breath of fresh air, honestly. Something I did not like about Little Man. Oh, how could I? Gadget has a lot of things that she did not like.
Yeah, she's looking for single cats in her area. She's gonna get fixed next month. She ran away when I said that, by the way, audience.
Gosh, was there anything I disliked about Little Man?
Don't even play.
I'll just say the ending, that, like, the fact that it drops the ball so
I think
hard.
that the wasted potential of the grandfather oversees the ending for me, but I can appreciate it was kind of tied in my mind.
Yeah.
But I think we talked about why the ending sucks.
Yeah.
It just doesn't fit the movie. Like, it's a different.
Yeah, they wanted to have their cake and eat it too, and
they just ended up eating out of a toilet.
Yeah.
We caught him in a truck stop bathroom, just eating straight out of the bowl. Like.
This has been Emissaries from the Void with Ari Stell Hawthorne and myself, Tristan Bowersox. New episodes will be released every other week with short bonus content we're calling liminals in the off weeks. The intro music is Now I Hear Little Dreams by Captive Portal, and the outro music is Arcadia by White Bat Audio. You can find us on Blue Sky at Void Emissaries, and remember that's single M double S. You can find Ari as Obscurity on most platforms and me on Blue Sky and Letterboxd as TB McQueen. The latter is where you will find our watch list and suggest movies you'd like to hear us dissect. You can also email us at emissariesfromthevoid@outlook.com to give feedback, alternate takes on the movies we've discussed, questions, suggestions, etc. Emissaries from the Void is a Void Opal podcast produced by TB McQueen Creative. For something completely different, listen to my other podcast, Fan Fiction Theater.